Te sentirás liberado de tanto dolor. Dejarás tus adicciones y tus temores. Sorpréndete de todo el poder que tienes dentro de ti. Llama ahora para una cita al 832-378-0906. Síguenos todos los martes en el programa Sanándote con Vania a las 4 de la tarde por www.cbbaradio.com o CBBA Radio Facebook.
Asustado, temeroso, con miedo, ¡alto! Llama al abogado que te va a ayudar. 713-228-3030. Apúntalo bien. 713-228-3030. Goleará tus problemas. No te preocupes. Cristóbal Galindo, el abogado de la raza, peleará por ti. 713-228-3030. Anótalo ya. 713-228-3030. O visítalo en www.elabogadodelaraza.com. No permitas que un accidente te detenga de ver los partidos del Mundial. Así es que déjalo en manos del experto Cristóbal Galindo, el abogado de la raza. Él anotará un golazo por ti. 713-228-3030. Y recuerda, si no puedes venir, nosotros vamos hasta donde tú te encuentres. Además, abierto 24 horas los 7 días de la semana. Recuerda, Cristóbal Galindo es el abogado de la raza.
El siguiente espacio es un programa pagado y las opiniones emitidas en el mismo no representan la opinión de CBBA Radio ni de sus patrocinadores.
Hello and welcome to Your Health Naturally. I'm your host, Lilibeth Andre, a naturopath and pranic healer with Healthy Balance here in Houston, Texas. This program serves to demystify natural alternatives for health, and I hope that you enjoy it. If you've missed any of our past episodes, you're welcome to join us on YouTube. Subscribe while you're there and receive notification of new posts. See any past posts you may have missed, and we thank you for supporting us there. Thank you for joining us live today here on CBBA. Today we're going to talk about flower essences. There is a symbolism among flowers. Through our history, flowers have been symbols to express almost all of our emotions and sentiments. One example is the rose. It is an international symbol that represents love or devotion or things of the heart. Another example is the orange blossom. The orange blossom means and represents chastity and purity. There's also the tulip, and the tulip represents passion. And there's also rosemary, and rosemary represents remembrance and memories. We also have clover. Clover means think of me. And some plants also have meanings, such as the pomegranate, which means presumption. So if you're looking to give someone a symbol, especially back in older days, they would give them a pomegranate if they felt that they were a presumptuous person. Then there's also aloe vera, and the aloe vera represents bitterness. We also have the meaning of the apple blossom, and the apple blossom represents a preference for someone. So if you had a preference for a certain individual, you could give them some apple blossoms. There's also a yellow carnation, and the yellow carnation represented disdain. So if you were not very pleased with someone, you would very gently tell them so by giving them a yellow carnation. Through various studies, we have seen that this symbology has some scientific truth. We talked about rosemary, and we do know today that rosemary is now a very popular herb and essence that can stimulate our memory. So there is some truth to this. Flowers also stimulate part of the human aura, or the human energy field, at a vibrational level. Here we have an image that shows the human figure with the various energy bodies surrounding it. So that is the energy field that we have, and plants also have this energy field. It has been observed that each flower has an individual imprint, something like our own fingerprint. It has an etheric pattern that relates to our emotions, and that's at the level where they can connect with us. This pattern that exists in the essence of that flower is transferred to a vehicle for its use. The resulting floral essence is similar to homeopathy, in that through minute particles of the essence of the flower, we can recuperate our balance that takes us to health once again. It is only that the floral essences focus primarily at the emotional level. The emotional health is important because that emotional field is the beginning of our physical health. The emotional field moves our energy, and that comes to be reflected onto the physical field. So we know and we understand that when we're feeling positive, we can have a more expedited healing when we're sick, because we're transferring that emotion from our energy body into our physical. So our emotions are very, very important. The base of this therapy is that human beings and other living beings are intimately related. So how is it that we can relate to a plant or to other beings? Well, it's because we can connect through our energy field. Well, how is that? There is a determined archetype in nature, and the shape of a plant, its habitat, its color, its fragrance, and historical use, as well as the mythology and tradition of these, reveal their curative powers. So much of what we have known over time, and many other things and many other factors, can help us determine what it is that makes that plant vibrate at a certain level and connect with us when we need it most. These properties are reaffirmed through cases and clinical studies. We see that it has been found that floral essences are a vibrational type of medicine. So that's at the type of level that we're talking about. So the floral essences work at the vibrational level. So what is a vibration? A vibration is the movement of energy. Some studies have scientifically demonstrated that insects and animals emit vibrational signals to each other. Trees and plants hum with tiny air bubbles that pop inside their ducts, and there is evidence that insects and plants can mutually hear each other. So there have been studies that show that when certain circumstances are occurring in the forest or in the woods out in their ecosystem, they can communicate with each other and be prepared for floods, for droughts, for fire, these types of things. We're going to take a break and come right back.
Golea tus problemas legales con el abogado de la raza. 713-228-3030. Anota ya. 713-228-3030. Y anótate un gol.
Encuentra tu yo interior, cambia tu manera de pensar y comienza de nuevo. Deja el miedo y atrévete a vivir una vida feliz. Llama al 832-378-0906. Haz tu cita ya para una terapia que te cambiará tu vida. Conocerás tus miedos, subirás tu autoestima, te sentirás liberado de tanto dolor. Dejarás tus adicciones y tus temores. Sorpréndete de todo el poder que tienes dentro de ti. Llama ahora para una cita al 832-378-0906. Síguenos todos los martes en el programa Sanándote con Vania a las 4 de la tarde por www.cbbaradio.com o CBBA Radio Facebook.
¿Asustado? ¿Temeroso? ¿Con miedo? ¡Alto! Llama ya al abogado Cristóbal Galindo, 713-228-3030. Sí, 713-228-3030. El abogado de la raza.
Hello and welcome back. We're talking about flower essences and how the flowers can communicate with us through our emotional vibration. So we're talking about how scientific studies have found that plants and insects can communicate amongst each other at that level. So when we have that plants can emit vibrations and they can pick up and communicate mutually to support each other, we can justify what we're saying as flowers emitting vibrations that can connect to human beings as well. So many times these sounds can be too low or too high to be perceived by the human ear, but there is equipment that can measure this. And with each new research project, there's new equipment that's utilized to study and find more and more evidence to this. The most subtle energy is that which vibrates at a high frequency or faster, and the more dense energy is that which does it at a lower frequency or more slowly. In this case of the flower essences, the vibration is that which each flower emits, so it's part of their communication, part of their energy. Different energy frequencies reflect various measures of vibration. And in those vibrations and in those frequencies is how we can connect with them and they can connect with us. We see that matter and energy are two different manifestations of the same energetic substance. Energy vibrates at a frequency of high velocity, and matter vibrates at a slower frequency. Illness manifests itself in the energy body first. Then it manifests in the physical body. So in this chart we can demonstrate, it demonstrates that certain emotions can vibrate at certain frequencies, and that is where we can pick up on the vibrations of each one of these flowers. Floral essences can gently alter the dysfunctional patterns in the subtle bodies that, and in that way, balance the effects in the physical body. And these patterns are identified through the emotions. So that is the language that we use that is in common with the flowers and the flower essences. In history, floral essences have been used in many, many cultures. They have been very well known and used in India, in China, by the Australian Aborigines, and by native peoples across the world for many centuries. Dr. Edward Bach of England, born in 1886, was a bacteriologist and immunologist who practiced homeopathy for 10 years. He used his experience to create a connection between stress, emotions, and disease. And finding this connection, he set out to discover something that could help balance that dysfunction. Dr. Bach discovered a natural and simple manner to balance the physical and emotional systems. He discovered that by leaving the flowers in a bowl with spring water under the sunlight, he could obtain powerful and potent tinctures with the energetic impression of the flower. So the energetic fingerprint of the flower through sunlight, sunbrewing the plant, the flower, that energy was passed on to the liquid, to the to the spring water, and he was able to use it. He used these tinctures to treat the emotional reactions of illness or emotional manifestations. He realized that the temperaments eventually gave course to an illness into the physical body. He noticed that fear depresses the mind, causing disharmony in the physical and magnetic body. So he set out to balance this and create a benign environment so that the negative energy would not be transferred. And here's an example, the elm. Some of the characteristics he found in the elm were that it applied to those people who are doing good work, are following the calling of their life, and hope to do something of importance, and this often for the benefit of humanity. But at times, there may be periods of depression when they feel that the tasks that they have undertaken are too difficult and not within their power or human power to make happen. So those are the characteristics that he found in the elm that clearly connect to people under certain circumstances. So by using the elm, he could boost these people's confidence. He could remove the negative effects of these emotions and boost the positive so that they could be more balanced and be able to continue with their work. As a consequence of this, it was observed that the real cause of an illness resulted in our personality. The work of Dr. Bach demonstrated a connection between the personality and the illness. He searched for a natural and simple system, secure but curative nonetheless. He created it to stimulate inner healing. Studies have shown that the healing properties of flowers continue to grow across the world. Flowers offer the human energy, the vibration of unique features of personality or of character. And by harmonizing the vibration, the personality begins to vibrate more in tune and in harmony with the soul. Dr. Bach discovered that the floral essences work deeply with our inner self. Flower essences assist people in reaching their next step in life. They serve to break down limitations and to update the underdeveloped potential, and in that way to reach physical healing that occurs as a result of the vibrational balance. And all this he discovered before his death in 1936. So what he explored was his life goal. What he wanted to do is leave behind a set of remedies that people could utilize that would be positive, that would be benign, and that would be strong to create the balance he was looking for after identifying that everything begins at the emotional level and finding that flowers can connect with us at that level. He began to identify that there were those commonalities between the two, and beginning to identify what those emotions and characteristics were and what emotions we might be experiencing, he began to make those connections. Now, Bach flowers aren't the only flowers available. There are many variations. Many times these are regional or cultural, and they apply to the various emotions and more in depth. Some people like to mix them. Some people like to stick with one and at one set and work with them. But Dr. Bach was probably one of the more current folks working with floral essences, and his discoveries gave way to a very popular new way of creating balance for people from the emotional level, where we can begin to find the balance that we're searching for, whether it's a temporary situation such as an accident, or whether it's something a little more long-term, some grieving or some depression, flowers can help us find that balance that can put us back on track in a positive way, because they begin to help us at that internal level. And then it begins to reflect on the outside. So when looking for a potential flower that might be beneficial to you, you might want to consider Bach flowers. You might want to visit with a practitioner so that they can help you identify what the best combinations might be for you. As I said, there are different flowers. There are Aztec flowers, there are Mediterranean flowers, there are flowers of the dawn, and they all have specific characteristics that can be useful and beneficial to us. So flower essences are not a new therapy. They have been around for a very long time. They are benign and positive, and I hope that you can find an opportunity to try them and let us know what you think. For now, I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope that you can come back and listen to our show again. Please visit our YouTube channel and subscribe while you're there. Show us your support. And for today, I thank you for joining us in this live program here on CBBA.
El programa anterior fue un programa pagado y las opiniones emitidas en el mismo no representan la opinión de CBBA Radio ni de sus patrocinadores.